Hello and welcome to this video. In today's video I'll be taking a look at this Garmin Edge 520 Plus cyclocomputer. On the bottom of the box, it may be hard to see, but it does say what the contents are, such as flush out front mount, standard mount, tether, USB cable manuals. And then we're looking on the right side of the box now. Let's go take a look at the top of the box. And now the other side of the box. For this Edge 520 Plus, there's performance features that include the VL2 Max, recovery time, FTP, and additional features. It's listed as being 62.5 grams with a 2.3-inch screen size. With the built-in Bluetooth, you could get messages from your phone. You could also get group track and incident detection. There's also some mapping features on this Edge 520 Plus, such as turn-by-turn navigation. Here's a close look at the top part of the back of the box. I'm not exactly sure how to open this, and I'll just say that I'm purchasing this because my Edge 820, the battery is not lasting too long. I think it only goes for maybe 3 hours of the stated 18 hours now, and I've had it for a few years now. Looks like this is the Garmin Edge 520 device itself with a little sticker on it. So let me just take this out, place it off to the side, and see what's inside the box here. I have not opened this before, so this is the first time to take a look at what the contents are included in this box. Okay, there's nothing on this side. Let's go take a look at this right here. Looks like there's a Garmin mount, or it looks like there may be two mounts here. I'm not exactly sure if there are two mounts, but it looks like to be that there are two. Looks like a washer or something that goes over the bar, and a little Allen wrench, maybe a 1.5 millimeter, something pretty small. Does look like a little tether you can put your wrist around. I'm not sure, it's not a watch. Here we have, looks like a USB cable. It's a micro USB to a USB type A. And that's my guess for these two connections. It might be about 3 feet, nothing super long in my guess. And then we have an out front mount for the Garmin. I've used these on some of my bikes and they seem to work pretty well. It's interesting, when I look at this one, it looks like the mount comes from the middle of the clamp versus my other one that comes from the top. So if it comes from the middle of the clamp here, that just means that you might be a little more hidden. If you have a stem right here, and the stem comes out, and it's flat, and you put the computer here, it might be flat and flush with the stem. Finally, it looks like there is also some paperwork included with this Garmin Edge 520 Plus. And here are the other components of what's included. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look to see what's inside here. Alright, so I took these out of the package, and it comes with 1, 2, 3, well, a lot of these rubber things. Let me organize it. Alright, so you need 2 of these O-rings or rubber band type things per mount, 1 for each side. These go for the 31.8 millimeter handlebars and maybe slightly larger. This might be for smaller handlebars, such as like a 26-27 millimeter handlebar. These might be able to stretch also to use on stems, and this right here, these little washers go on the back side like such, so it prevents it from slipping a little bit, and you stick that onto your bar like that. Since I have a scale, might as well weigh these. This is without the washer. That's 3.9, almost 4 grams. Throw on the little washer there, and it takes it up an extra gram to 4.95 grams. And then we'll throw on, let's see, I could weigh these separately. So that's 5 grams. 2 large ones add a 1.7 grams, and 2 small ones adds 1.4 grams. So let's go ahead and take a look at this off the front mount that was included with the Edge 520 Plus. There's a Garmin mount here, so when you install your computer, make sure that these tabs go in the up and down position. So you can go ahead and put it in like this, and then twist it, and it kind of snaps in place, and let's see what it looks like. So if you do have a stem here, looks like it runs semi-flush with the stem, and if your handlebar kind of comes inward or it's real wide, it might be hard to push these buttons, but it looks like in this case, if the stem's here, there's enough space to slip your fingers in here to get to the buttons. If you had a larger computer, maybe the 1000 series, I'm not sure where that mounts. If it comes all the way back here, and then it might be hard to get your fingers in there. On the back side of this mount, it looks like there is space to mount something else. So I'm not sure what else Garmin has that you can mount on the bottom. It'd be nice if you could mount a light or something else off the front, or maybe even a camera. Maybe it works for the Garmin's new camera that they have. And this right here might be the 1.5 or 2 millimeter Allen screw that comes with the package. So I'm going to tear the scale again. I'm going to stick this thing on, and it's a lot heavier than the 5 grams of this little sucker here. 5 grams plus the extra 1.72 grams. So this whole thing is like 7 grams, and if you have it off the front mount, you're adding a significant more weight. But maybe you just want that to clear up some handlebar space so you don't mind the 43.5 grams. Furthermore, if you have a smaller handlebar, you may need this little shim here. So there are actually 2 things that came in that bag in terms of shims. I believe this might be required, so you stick this in here just so it gets some grip. So the plastic on carbon fiber or aluminum might be a little slippery, but if you stick this inside your mount, it's going to go ahead and provide a little more grip. So when you're on a bouncy road or uneven surfaces and the handlebar is rattling, it won't slip down. Now you also have this shim for smaller handlebars, like 25 to 27 millimeters. I could go ahead and measure it to see what size this is. Alright, so when this is closed, it's about 25 millimeters, which was my initial guess. I'm sure you could expand it a little more to get little wider handlebars if you want to. Alright, we're moving back on to the Edge 520 Plus, and it looks like there are 3 buttons on this left side here. There's a power button along with maybe some mode selections. Looks like, yep, there's a button here for the lap, and this button here is for start stop, similar to the 2 buttons that are on the Edge 820 at the bottom. On the right side, it looks like there's also some mode selection buttons, 2 of them here. The back side, let's take a look right here. There should be also maybe be a speaker, and there's a tether here. I'm not sure why you'd put a tether here if you mount it on your bicycle, but I don't use it. This is the micro USB, and it looks like this rubber mount here, it might be similar to the one on the Edge 820. It didn't last that long for me, just about a month or 2, and then it kind of snapped off right here and broke. So it wasn't the best quality. Maybe this one will last just a tiny bit longer, hopefully. Again, Garmin says this is 62.5 grams. I'm gonna guess 65 grams. Alright, I've never weighed it before, so my guess was 65 grams. I'll go ahead and peel this off if it ends up being a bit. Oh, 63.1, and Garmin says it's 62.5, so that actually might be spot on. I was wrong, overestimated. Let's peel this off. Let's see if I get exactly to 62.5 grams. Oh, well, that didn't do too much, but it's still within half a gram, so I think Garmin's quite accurate saying 62.5. But if they want to put that extra decimal, maybe they should have put 63.0 to be almost spot on. Alright, before I turn this on, which I don't know, it's one of these buttons. This looks like the brightness, up and down, the back button. Maybe that's your on-off switch there. It's going to be a little different from my Edge 820. Here's the Edge 820 to the left, where the on-off is over here, and it's marked. And this one, it doesn't look like it's marked there. And oh, it's the top left, just like the Edge 820. And the Edge 820 is a little more dirty. I've had it for a few years, and as you can tell, I had to put some tape over because this portion right here fell apart within a month or two after getting it. On the bottom, there's either a speaker or also the same buttons on the Edge 820 as the 520. I'll keep the 520 on the right side. And I went for a ride earlier, so it's a little dirty. Alright, I'm not going to go over this quick start manual. Hopefully it's online so you could see all of this instructions on the internet, but you could just take a brief look and pause it if you want to see anything specific. And I'll go ahead and read through this and then maybe go ahead and turn the Garmin on to see what it looks like for the very first time and see how much battery life they give you and whether you need to charge it before you go, or if you could just purchase this, turn it on, and maybe go without any sensors connected. Okay, I looked at the instructions or the quick start and it didn't say anything in particular for the Edge 520 Plus here on the right. These are the data screens I typically like to see. This is my personal preferences on the Garmin Edge 820, and I want to mirror them on the Garmin Edge 520 Plus. I don't think there's an easy way going through the app to just go ahead and customize them exactly the same, so I just might have to go through the menus and do them manually. Now when I'm going to turn it on here on the upper left, it just says push and hold it, and let's see what happens. Now, in the instructions or the quick start, it did mention that you're going to have to put in your language and then follow the instructions on your smartphone app to go ahead and pair it. This Edge 520 Edge, or the Garmin 520 Edge, I do not believe it comes with Wi-Fi. The Garmin Edge 820 has Wi-Fi, so when I get back after a ride, if I'm in the Wi-Fi that was selected, I could go ahead, it could go ahead and automatic sync, or you just go ahead, pull down from the top, turn on Wi-Fi, and then go ahead and click the sync button. So here, I believe you could select just your languages for a quick setup. Alright, so I have English was default. I'm going to go ahead and see if there's, you can push, whoa, up or down. That's not even American characters. And I believe top right to select. Download and open the Garmin app to pair your smartphone. So I'm going to go ahead and have to sync it with the phone. So it looks like on the phone, you go ahead to your Garmin app, and then you click on More down here. The next thing you click on, you have to go scroll down to Garmin Devices. So right here where it says Garmin Devices, you're going to go ahead and click there and make sure your Bluetooth is on. And here you can see I have a Phoenix 3HR and the Garmin Edge 820. And registered is also my Garmin Edge 500. That was my first Garmin device. And go ahead and click on the bottom which says add a device, and it's going to go ahead and show that it's starting a setup. Now we go ahead and select the device. The Garmin Edge 820, sorry, the Edge 520. It's still patiently waiting, and it's been on for a little bit, so I can't tell you how much battery life they've given us. And it looks like it's not a popular in one of the first menus, so I have to go to Edge series, which is right up here, select the Edge, and let's find the Edge 520 Plus. Now that shows up right away on the screen. It's right here on the Plus. Make sure this is the Plus version because Plus includes map. The Edge 520, I don't believe it comes with mapping software. So I'm going to go ahead and click Edge 520 Plus. Make sure it's in Bluetooth pairing mode. Refer to user manual for help. On the left side, it says waiting for phone. So hopefully this is in Bluetooth pairing mode. And go ahead and click start right here. So because Bluetooth is already on the phone, go ahead and search for your Bluetooth device. Hopefully it comes up, and it looks like it does. I'm going to go ahead and click right there, and it's going to load. So it looks like these two numbers match with 737 on the bottom. I guess on the Edge 820 I was able to go ahead and click OK, but this one's not a touch screen. So go ahead and click pair here. So it's going to go ahead and pair, and I didn't have to acknowledge it on the Garmin. It just went ahead and started pairing. This Apple phone is also asking, would you like to pair it? And yes, let's go ahead and do that as well. And we'll stick around to pair the phone, and it's going to set it up. Alright, 20 seconds later it said setup complete. And then Garmin Connect's going to need access to your location. That's if you want weather and other things. So if you remember my recommended or my preferred screens, I didn't have weather on it, so I'm just going to go ahead and click close. I'm not going to give them permission access. Now that pairing is complete, go ahead and click that next button right here. As you saw recently, I have other Garmin devices registered to my account. So go ahead, if you want to send them your profile and information, so you don't have to insert it all again, go ahead and send it over to the device. And it says that the Edge 520 will periodically sync. So go ahead and sync it if you like to. You can also update settings in the mobile app. And then go ahead and click finish. That screen just saying that they may have updates required, and there might be. Let's see if it does. So you could go ahead and complete the setup, or if you want to connect with Strava, set up your emergency contacts or live track, you're welcome to do that. If you set up emergency contacts and live track, I believe you're going to have Bluetooth synced with your phone and the Garmin, and they have to be talking to each other at all times. Now that it's done, it says, wow, turning off power in 15 seconds or however much. I didn't even see how much. Let's see if I could cancel it. What's the enter button? Oh, maybe the enter is that one. I could always turn it back on. Alright, I've turned it back on for the second time after I've completed the setup, and we'll see what kind of screens it takes me to. And at the bottom you can see that it is loading the maps. Download and open the Garmin mobile app to pair your phone. I already did this, so let's go ahead and skip. This is odd because I just did that. And now we could go ahead and choose if I want, see what the options are, metric. So I'm going to go with the US miles per hour. Time format, 12 hours should be good for me. And this is where you could enter your information. And it looks like it's saved all of my information. So now you know my birth year and my height and weight. Cycling ability. Now this may depend on your recovery time. Let's see what options there are. Superior. Oh, pro cyclist. Nope, I can't do pro. Alright, excellent, good, fair, untrained. I'm not sure what their levels are. Like if they say good's supposed to be 3 watts per kilogram FTP or something better than that, and then the next one is, you know, excellent, maybe 3 to 5 watts per kilogram, and superior 5 to 7 watts per kilogram FTP. Not sure. So I'm just gonna say good. Let's see. Well, right now it's more of fair, but I'm just gonna leave it as good, because if I were to go out and try to ride a 200k self-supported, I'd get a little tired. Set up activity profiles. You customize each profile. I'm going to go ahead and skip this. Don't need activity profiles right now. Would you like to connect sensors? I'm going to go skip that right now. I have a lot of sensors to connect. Do not attempt to enter a route information or just adjust this device while riding. Also, pay attention. Oh, I don't know how to get rid of this. Maybe I just go back. Let's try going back. No, skip. Maybe just click OK on the right side. Oh, there we go. Incident detection disabled and no contact information is available. That's okay. I've heard if you hit a real big bump, sometimes incident detection will go off. So I'm not going to have that on. And here, right here's the battery. On the Garmin Edge 820, I could just pull down to see what the battery percentage is. However, I cannot do that on this device. So let's go through the menu real quick. Let's push this up button, see what it does. See, there's up. I'm using my thumb, this one right here. And you can see on the side, these are the buttons. So I push up, and it takes me up to the menu, or the device settings. So it looks like the battery's at 27%. So when I got it, it may have come with, let's say, 30%. So you could probably go for a little ride. The brightness is at 60%. Let's see if they have an auto. Oh, let's see if they have an auto brightness. I'm gonna go ahead and enter there. Brightness 60%. Go enter one more time, and let's see if I can put it on automatic. Oh, increasing brightness will reduce battery life. Okay. It looks like no, there's no auto brightness in this menu. I'm going to go ahead and put it back at 60 so you could see a little easier. Here's the back button right here. We're going to go ahead and click this back button. Now it looks like on my camera that it's kind of flashing, but when you look at this with my own eyes, I don't see this kind of flashing up and down. Color mode auto, there might be a black and white color. Blackout backlight timer, 15 seconds, that's good, so it turns off and doesn't burn out your batteries. Let's go into this menu, take a look at this. Stays on, so if you do indoor riding and you plug it in, let's see if you'd want that. And you can choose all the way up to 2 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it at 15 seconds. Color mode auto, I'm not sure if there's a black and white, and if then you could go ahead and change your battery life, or if it does have battery life. Let's put enter there. And screen capture, I don't take screen captures on this device, so I'll leave that in the off, and then I'll push back to go back to the menu. So a bad thing about the Edge 500 was that if you were to plug it directly into a micro USB, that it would stop your ride, or you wouldn't be able to continue an activity while you're also charging your device. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and plug in a micro USB, and we're going to look here to see if anything changes. I'm in the menu section here, and I'm going to go ahead, plug this in, and see what happens. Brightness 50%, and it says charging, and perhaps I could still continue as normal, and it looks like that's a good thing. So you could go ahead, charge your device, and maybe even continue your activity if you'd like to. So I want to go back and see if this activity works. Ride. Let's go call it a train. And let's go click start. So indeed, it does look like you could go ahead, start a ride. These are the standard screens that come with the Garmin. I didn't change anything, and this definitely is not my ideal setup. As you saw earlier with my Edge 820, these aren't the screens I would normally choose. So the other data screens include your average speed and total ascent and elevation. If you push up one more time, it shows you a detailed map of where you are. So to end this, go ahead and push the pause, play, stop button again. And now you could use the up and downs to go ahead and discard the ride and use this right button. And then if it's okay, push down on this side and then hit this again. So quite a bit of button pushing. And as you can tell, it's still charging on this upper left here. You can see that the battery is still charging, and if I were to go up once, you could see what the battery percentage is, right at 26% now. Alright, so if you want to easily change the brightness without going up through the menu, just go ahead and click this brightness setting right here, and then go ahead and change it however you like. That would be actually real handy for a bike ride at night, because if you just want to see the brightness, you go ahead and change it while you're riding. Let me see if this works. Maybe I'll turn the lights off and see if I could get the brightness going. I'll go ahead and start a ride, and here's the brightness on right now. And then, so if you hit the brightness and you're pedaling, you lose everything. You don't know how fast you're going, you don't know your heart rate. So go back, let's see, let me wait till this backlight turns off. Well, I've been waiting. It's supposed to be a 15-second turn off, and it looks like it's still been 50 seconds and this light is still on. So it looks like you're gonna have to manually turn it off if you'd like to. Save battery. So now that it's off, take a look at the stats. Okay, let's talk about how to change the activity profiles for the Garmin Edge 820 Plus here. I'm going to push this down arrow to go to the menu. Then I'm going to scroll and navigate down to settings. Here I'll push the enter button on this right side. Then go ahead to activity profiles, enter there. And you can customize these, but I'm going to go and search the train. I guess you could go in a full circle if you'd like to. And select that version. You could choose what color you want, the data screens, your default rider type, and what type of GPS mode you'd like, along with the alerts, auto features, timer start at 6 miles an hour, and I do like 6 miles an hour, so I can just start riding and it'll automatically start based on the GPS. Let's go up to data screens here and go ahead and click on this right side there. So screen 1, it shows 5 fields. Screen 2, looks like these are all off, even though earlier we saw that there were other screens. Map none, group track list on, elevation is on. So these might be the other screens that we've seen. And let's see if it goes in a complete circle. Yes, it does. Let's go ahead, change your screens, and now you can change how many fields you want. I think I want like 10, so let's go up and change it. Oh, and they have large ones. I don't think they had a large screen on my Edge 820, so that's actually real nice. But now with this new update, it might. So that's the most you could have is 10. So let's go back, maybe go back down to 8. And this looks pretty nice, so I'll select 8. Now that I want 8, let me see if I could click this to select it. Yes, it says 8 fields. And now, when you select what fields you want, go ahead and click there, and you can select which fields you want. So right now it's on time, so let's go back here, look at where this time is. It doesn't say exactly where each field is, so we come here and look at time, and it looks like field 1's up top, so 1, 2, maybe 3. If that's distance, maybe it goes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's see if 3 is distance and 4 is time of day. So it's 3 distance, yes, and 4 time of day. Yes, so it does go kind of downwards in left to right order. So I want to mirror the Edge 820 and the Edge 820 here. I could just touch it and it's a touch screen. And it's gonna, I got used to this touch screen, but it's not that great of a touch screen. So I want to mirror this, and it looks like the top one is speed, and these are my 8 fields. So on the Edge 820, let's go ahead and move this over to your current speed. Go back up, search your field 1, enter, and then go ahead and find the speed. And that might be under the cycling dynamics. But here are all of your options, just to take a look. Nope, speed has its own, so there might be a current speed, and that's what I'd like. So there's current speed, average speed, last lap, maximum speed. Go ahead, select your current speed, and there it is. So you could go ahead through the rest of your Garmin and select. And it looks like, in terms of resolution, they look very similar. For my next one, I want the 3-second power average. Now if you do standard power here, it might jump around a lot. So I like to do a 3-second average, but let's go ahead and take a look at the options here. I'm not sure what power average is. That might be for the whole segment, or it might be for the whole ride. Lap power max. There's quite a few options here. Nominal power for the lap. And your watts per kilogram, I've used that before. Your power zone and times in your power zones. Does it go up to 7? Wow, how many power zones are there? I only know 7. I probably can't get out of zone 7. So torque effectiveness, balance. And this may be if you have a dual-sided power meter, but I do not. So I'm just going to go back to my power 3-second average right here and go ahead and select that. On my Edge 820, I like to have my current heart rate, then my time of day, grade percentage, cadence, time in the current lap, and the overall distance. I'm going to go ahead and set those up. The next one I have is heart rate here, and I want to briefly show you the types of heart rates that you have for the data fields. There's quite a few of them, so I'm just going to kind of scroll through them very briefly to see which ones you'd like. You can put them on other data screens as well. So I'm going to go back and go ahead and select heart rate for data screen or field 3 in the first data screen. Field 4, I like to go ahead and do time of day, and wow, it's perfect there. The next one will be, for me, the grade percentage. So I went ahead and found the grade for field 5. Go ahead and click there. You're going to go ahead and go cycle down to elevation. There's elevation right there. I'm just going to show you a few others where they're all positioned. Go to elevation, and there is the grade right there. But let's go ahead and take a look. That might be the current elevation. So if you're at 1,000 feet elevation, it should show you in the units that you selected. Total ascent, total descending, vertical speed, and vertical speed 30-second average. Back to your elevation, and then the grade. And then it'll take you back to your field. The stock for 6 is heading. So I guess there is a built-in compass, or it knows through the GPS which direction you're heading or percentage you're heading. But I'm going to go ahead and look for the current lap. So we're going to look for some type of time here. General, lights, and timer. Okay, back to the front. So it's in alphabetical order, and I'm going to go look for current lap. So let's go to the timer and look at all of these. That might be the number of laps, the time, and I like current lap. So if you're doing an interval, which I don't do too often, you can see how much time you're spending at that interval. There's my lap time, the current lap, that's what I'm looking for, but I'm going to go ahead and continue through this to see all of the options you have. So let's go back to lap time and go ahead and select that, and that is great. Okay, I made a mistake here. My field number 6, which is right here, I can touch to turn that on. This one, I don't know how to get this back on. I guess I have to push the button. Okay, field 6 here is cadence. So I'm going to change this field 5, or this current lap, which is actually field 7. So I'm going to go down here and change this over to cadence. So to change this over to cadence, go ahead and put enter. Since it's alphabetical, it's right there. And again, this is not a touch screen, so you have to go ahead, click that. And there's not too many options for cadence here. Standard cadence, average, or your lap. So I just want to see my current cadence, and go ahead and select that. Finally, for field 8, the stock was elevation, and I like to have my distance, as you can see on this Garmin Edge 820. And notice that I put distance and current lap, which aren't the most important things, at the bottom, because for this one, if you touch it, it disappears. If you're still riding, it'll show you your speed, it'll show you your power and your heart rate, 3 metrics that I want to see all the time. If it does somehow get messed up, I try to get back. I'm like, oh, okay, now I could see my most important things. So let's go ahead and choose the option here on the right to find the distance. And I don't want just a lap distance. I want the total distance that I've started riding since the ride has started. So go ahead and choose distance, and there's going to be quite a few distances. I'll probably just choose this first distance, but let's go ahead and see what type of distance there is. Odometer. I'm not sure what odometer is. Maybe that's from all of your rides total. Why don't I go ahead and put odometer here just to see what it says. Alright, let's go back. So it's interesting. It has odometer. I'm going to go ahead and go back. Oh, you know what you could do when you're in the middle of this? You could just go ahead and push start. And it automatically starts a ride. And it looks like, because I haven't used this Edge 820 Plus, sorry, this is the 520 Plus, I'm getting confused, that the odometer is at 0 miles. Now that I started a ride, you're going to have to go ahead, stop it, go down to discard if you don't want it, click this to discard it, and then go down, discard without saving. So a lot of kind of button tapping here and there. So I'll show you one more time how I get there. It's a little repetitive, but you go down, you go over to settings, and then you go ahead, push enter, and you're going to go to your activity profiles, which is such. Go ahead, select which one you're using, train, okay, and then you're going to go to your data screens, get there, you have to push it again. Go all the way down and then select your data screens. Nope, one more push. Screen 1. Now you get to the fields inside your data screens. So if you accidentally push start stop, which I did a number of times, I'm holding right here and hit this button, you're going to have to end the ride and go all the way back to do exactly what I did to get to this point again. Okay, I haven't done anything to this default ride type, so this is what's a little alarming, which you should make sure you go into this, and when you get this, go to default ride type. I don't know, it seems like I have to push it twice. And this, I did not change. This is stock. It comes as electric mountain bike as my default ride type. And I don't even have an electric bike. Let's go see what they have. Mixed surface, road, mountain. I'm not sure what this is for, but maybe it uploads it to Strava, so then if you say e-bike or electric mountain bike, it won't count towards any segments. Not sure, but okay. My standard's either road or mountain. I'll just default to road since I put more road miles than mountain. And now it says your default ride type is road. So now that you see that it says default ride type road, when I initially started, it just had a default ride type and it didn't say anything. Well, if I go back and select e-mountain bike, would it say default road bike? Or would it say, oh, see, it says e-mountain. It doesn't say exactly what it is. Last time, when I first got it and didn't choose road, it didn't have anything listed there. So maybe you don't have to update it. I'm not exactly sure what the segments are, but I don't have any premium Strava subscription, so I don't think anything will pop up saying you did a segment as a personal record or anything like that. So let's go ahead and add a sensor to this Garmin Edge 520 Plus. I'm going to go ahead down to the menu and navigate over to settings. Oh, I guess you could just push up once. Then we're going to go down, push down once to settings. Sorry, sensors, and go ahead and add a sensor. Now I have a heart rate sensor on me, so let's go see if it finds it. You You can either search all or go down to heart rate. But let's take a look at what type of sensors you can add. Oh, Shimano Di2. I don't have the updated firmware, so I'm not going to be updating or syncing any Shimano Di2. Weight scale. Okay, let's go back to heart rate and choose this. Click right here, and it says to connect the heart rate monitor, put it on. So it shows my heart rate ID. Guess that's okay if you guys see that. Click add sensor. That looks like it. What does that do? Oh, enable sensor details or remove. Let's go back. It's enabled. Go on up and click. Oh, it found the sensor. Let's see if it's added it or not. So I could go back. Actually, I could just hit play on the bottom right. And I hit play, and sure enough, the heart rate it has found. So now that I'm wearing my heart rate monitor, it has been added. Fair enough. And I could go ahead and stop it, and again I have to go down discard ride and click down again and click OK, and it should take me back to the menu. So that's how you add a sensor for this Garmin. Well, there you have it, the contents of the Garmin Edge 520 Plus cycle computer, and a little bit on the setup. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe, because I will have some great upcoming content in the near future. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Thank you for your time and watching this, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks again.